anyway.
Yeah.
There we go. It was a good thing I noticed when we were just BSing about lawn care. I looked up and it had like a error thing next to the Facebook. It needed to be reconnected.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh, good thing I noticed that before I hit the button.
I haven't used this platform before, so it's a new one for me.
I actually learned about this one from Marty Hughes.
Okay.
So I went down, man, the podcast rabbit hole, like what led to this was wild because it was basically a year and a half of me saying repeatedly, I want to start a podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I finally committed to it, I started looking at like StreamYard was the first one I looked at right off the get go because you hear about StreamYard all the time, and I
Yeah.
looked at Restream and whatever the other one that starts with an R is, and so I was looking at them all, and the thing that I kept noticing over and over was if everybody's got like their base plan, but if you look at it from a standpoint of I'm going to do this and commit to it and stick with it, you realize just looking at the plans that a base plan is not going to work because
Right.
it's got watermarks or storage limitations or it can only go to one platform. And so I realized real quickly that everybody's plan needed to be at least one step up. And so when you start looking at all those podcasting services, it gets expensive like real fast.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like, do I want to drop $50, $60 a month to something right out of the gate that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stick with? But at the
Right.
same time, if I do stick with it, I don't want my early stuff branded in some kind of weird way. So I had been on Marty's podcast once or twice at that point, and he
Right.
uses this platform. And I said this to Marty, so it's not insulting to him at all. I'm like, if Marty can manage it, I can manage it because what I love most about Marty is that dude's always got 47 balls in the air at any given moment. And if you watch his podcast, you can see the balls happening because he's
Yeah.
just got so much stuff going on. And he'll be the first to tell you he's not overly technical.
Right.
And a lot of stuff, hey, what's up, Emmanuel? A lot of stuff just seems so daunting. So then I got to looking at the pricing. This platform is like half the cost of all the
Really.
other ones. I'm paying like, I think it's 25 a month and I can store multiple shows, no watermarks, push it out to multiple places at once. I
Wow.
can download audio only or audio and video. So it kind of does everything the other ones do for less money overall. And so
I got
that's
you.
what ultimately got me into it. And as I use it, I really like it. It's got a lot of
Right.
features I'm not using yet. Like I have a countdown video for like when
Yep.
it goes live, like what you guys do and stuff. And
Yep.
I need
I
to do that.
I paid for StreamYard a year in advance, and I've used it probably 5 times. But Restream will let you go TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So that's why Danny's using that one, and it's actually pretty user friendly, pretty good. But I don't know the pricing on it. But you're right, the pricing on that stuff is pretty crazy. And it's I
Hmm.
paid for a year. I paid for a year because I was going to do a podcast like all the time, and I did, like I said, a few of them, and it was like, well, that kind of fizzled out pretty quick, especially when you're going to. I'm going to Danny's shop back when he had the shop, going sometimes twice a week to do Tuesday and Thursday nights, and I drive an hour. I used to drive an hour and a half to get there, and then drive an hour and a half home. So I'm like, I'm not doing another podcast. It ain't gonna happen. Not 3 days a week. Not if I don't
No,
have.
and you and Alex were like the brains behind the scenes too. Like people don't realize how much work that is, like the camera switching and the
Yep.
audio levels. It seems real easy to throw in a pair of AirPods and do it,
Yeah.
but the right way to do it with the boards and like
Yeah.
I'll get a Rode because I want to be able to go do them.
Oh,
Like when we
absolutely.
go to kayak fishing tournaments, I want to be able to take a couple XLR mics and my
Yeah.
Rode and just sit around the table with guys and kick it on and BS. And but yeah, it's a whole different animal when you're trying to move the camera to the person who's talking and get the angles and
Yep.
like the TikTok is always a whole nother thing because that never seems like it wants to work right. And
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah. We had.
actually I haven't linked TikTok to this one because the three times that I've tried, it hasn't been a problem on this platform. TikTok has been the problem. Like it
Hmm.
just doesn't it'll say it's broadcasting to it and TikTok like recognizes it and then it
Yeah.
just doesn't come through.
Well, I used to stream on TikTok. You had to be a gamer or you had to have a key. and I don't know what that is. You had to apply for it or whatever, but somehow Restream has figured it out. Now, when Danny first started doing it on TikTok, it would boot him off after about 15 or 20 minutes, and it said because they were recognizing he wasn't a gaming channel. But somehow that's been fixed. I don't know how. I'd have to pick his brain. He fixed it, and now every time we go live, it actually goes out to TikTok live, because I have to pull up that live while I'm doing it on my phone, because it doesn't show in Restream. So like comments and stuff doesn't show. Well, there's actually a view in Restream. It puts a vertical view in Restream, but I've never pulled it up because it makes the other view smaller. What I'm using a 42-inch screen, and I have to make sure I got all the real estate I need for the comments and stuff like that, because I'm partially blind. So
Yeah, I've got I just have the laptop on right now, but right behind it, when it's plugged into my docking station, I have the same thing. It's like a 42-inch curved high definition monitor. And the only reason I don't use it when I'm doing this is I actually really like the MacBook camera.
yeah.
Because I was going to use the DJI originally, and then when I got the MacBook, I was like, oh, this is nice.
So that's the Emmanuel Leon. That's Eric LaRue. So that's his alias. That's he's on YouTube now. So that's my buddy Eric. We fish together quite a bit.
What's up, Eric? Yeah, I need to get an alias. Man, I stirred up too much on social media. Me and
Yeah, I
Andrew
noticed
Blair, we're always stirring it up with somebody.
that. Yeah, he's went a little wild over there on his demonetized channel. I'm like, oh, let's get a little touchy over there.
You know what? He's not wrong though. A buddy of mine texted me the other day. He's like, "All right, what's the story here?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh boy," he's like, "Let Andrew cook." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he is." Like mine, I didn't even go looking for a problem with that. Oh, what was that guy? That Doug King or whatever. He's a
Yeah.
tool. But he started it with me for like the millionth time, and I had just had it. And my Facebook, so I thought the Trash Panda Media, I thought it was the page at first, but my whole Facebook account, I got booted out of it like in the middle of the day after all that, when some dude shared it out and was like, I'll never buy anything from this guy, as if I care anyway. But I got booted out of Facebook, and I thought I got banned. And I was like, are we serious right now? But what it was, it identified that somebody was trying to get into my account. And so what's interesting is, so I just answered my security questions. I verified the phone numbers and emails and stuff.
Right.
And I got right back in. But what was funny is that was 4 or 5 days ago. And today I randomly got a thing from Facebook from the security team. And it was like, hey, by the way, so we looked into that, and the person we thought was trying to access your account appears to be tied to a person who made a post about you disparaging your Trash Panda decals page. And so we have now removed that post about you and flagged this activity for the future.
Are
And so
you
I
serious?
can, yeah, so I can only assume, in the narrow vision that like Facebook gives me, is that the same people that were bashing me were trying to get into my Facebook account, which is
Wow.
mildly amusing because I have two-factor authentication on everything,
Yeah.
plus like hard-coded security keys, like
Yeah.
that are here in my house that you cannot get into my accounts if you don't plug them into a computer. Like
Right.
it's 2026. What are we doing here trying to hack into a
Hmm.
Facebook account? Eric wants to
That's
know if you're going Saturday.
Yeah, no, we're
Oh,
going.
you
We're
are
actually
going.
yeah,
Gotcha.
we're going to Logan Martin on Saturday, and I can't wait either, because hopefully we figure something out, because that lake kicks my butt.
What kind of fishing you doing there? Is it bass fishing?
Yeah, it's bass fishing, largemouth, spotted bass, and anything else that'll bite. But I think we're going with a guide Saturday, unless he's changed his mind. There's a local guy out there that does YouTube. We're gonna go with him.
Oh, that's pretty cool. See, I don't have a lot of that around here with like there's a lot of YouTubers and stuff, and a lot of their kayakers YouTube, but you guys are in this interesting place with creators, like the whole region over there.
Hmm.
There's some seriously like big name creators over there, and honestly, when it comes to that region, I consider you one of those creators because your stuff cracks me up.
Dude, I
Like
appreciate that. I
you're,
appreciate that, because
I
I don't consider myself that, but I appreciate it.
when I'm scrolling through Facebook, it's like sometimes I just don't go on Facebook for a day because I'm
Yeah.
scrolling through. It's like fishing, 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 and like you're immersed in fish and you get burnt out. But I always stop on your videos because they always make me laugh.
Well, I
Like,
appreciate that.
and then so what kind of kayak did you get? Because I don't remember.
A Moken.
Okay.
Moken
So
12.5.
I knew you had talked about getting a kayak, and I knew Alex was trying to get you to get a kayak. But when I was scrolling through and I saw the kayak, I just stopped, and I was like, his whole life just changed now.
No, yeah, it's warming up a spot in the garage as we speak because I haven't done anything with it yet.
Have you
That's the
taken it out
problem.
at all yet?
No, so the story behind the kayak picture, the video, whatever I did there, um, I go to pick it up after a tournament, after me and Kevin Thornton fished the Fishers of Hope tournament up at Notley. So I went back up. When I got to Kevin's house, I had to drive back north for 35, 40 minutes, get the kayak. Well, he gave me the the bed extender. He gave me everything. I mean, it was a brand new kayak, never touched the water. He won it in a raffle. I mean, everything, bed extender. I've got a sonar unit. I've got two different lithium battery, I mean, all kind of stuff. Anyway,
He
well,
hooked you up.
yeah, and I mean, and I've got a trailer. I got a trailer hitch, right, ball hitch in my receiver. Well, I have keys. It would not unlock the receiver hitch, so I couldn't put the bed extender on. So
Oh,
yeah, so I've got to drill that lock out because both keys will not move that cylinder. I don't know what's happened with it, but so I've got to drill the lock out, take it apart, and I've just been fishing every weekend, and I haven't had a chance to. And it's one of those things like I'd almost maybe hit somebody up, like maybe see if Marshall Stamps will go or something like that. Just somebody that's got a little more experience with kayaks, kind of give me some pointers because
yeah,
I'm not a
Georgia
small
Bassmaster.
yeah I'm not a small guy, so getting on a kayak for me is like that. Here we go. We're fixing it, and I'll do it. I mean, I've got a lake close by I can get on, but I just hadn't done it yet.
It's it's a big change. It's one of those things that I've been doing for so long that the newness in a way is lost on me. Like I remember what it's like to get in a kayak, having never been in one. I remember what it's like to learn how to paddle and cast and all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
the uncertainty and the lack of confidence in the vessel that
Yes.
like I'm so far detached from at this point. And I try to remind myself that Christy said it's got everything you need. It
Yeah.
does. It's got everything but the fish. But
Yeah.
I try to remember because I'm in a lot of those Facebook groups, the beginner stuff, and you see it all the time. And they're like, I got out there, and it could be like a bona fide, for example, and you're like, it
Right.
just felt like it was going to flip, and I know you could stand on the side of that thing and it's not going to flip.
Right.
And I try to remind myself that, like, man, that's how it feels to a lot of people getting used to it. It's not like I could be out there in several foot rollers at this point, just laughing my ass off because I'm
Right.
just
Right.
conditioned.
Well, so here's the other thing. So like, I've got a bad knee that they want me to do knee replacement on, but I'm refusing to do it until I get ready for it. And so I'm
Fair.
like, I'm gonna hold off on that. So then I'm thinking, as I see the stock seat, I'm like, I need to raise that seat about 2 to 3 inches just to give me a little bit more comfortable sit. So then I started
Hmm.
googling, started researching the seat blocks that somebody makes, and then they're like $150. I'm like, okay, there's that.
What?
Yeah, then I want to mount my camera, so that's I got to get poles and whatever else I got to do. It's got some rail systems on there, but I'm like, I got to do that because around the house we've got probably no less than 50 bodies of water that within 30 minutes that you could get on that kayak or they're kayak friendly, not nothing, no power boats or anything
Hmm.
like that. But that's why I got it because I'm missing out on. And Marshall's invited me several times to go with him down to the river and catch some shoal bass, but I just didn't have a kayak. So which obviously the Moken's a little bit big, but for river fishing, but it's worth it. It'd be worth it for the me to do it. But it's a pedal drive too, so
I got to. I'm making myself a note because either somebody already makes seat risers with like a 3D print file for that, or I
they do.
probably can. Yeah, we can 3D print you, especially if there's a file out there. We can print you up a set of seat risers. I mean, $100. That's ridiculous.
Well, there was
It's
a guy.
probably five
There was a
dollars of
guy that had a
plastic.
YouTube. Yeah, there was a guy that had a YouTube channel. I found him that he did him specifically for the Moken, but apparently in the last year or so he's kind of gone away or whatever. I don't know if he's still doing it or if he just got busy in personal life. And then I think I found him on Etsy, and I want to say they were 140 bucks. They were. I was like, dang, that's already getting into. But I mean, right now the price of everything's expensive. If you say boat, whether it be a plastic one or
Hmm.
a fiberglass one, they're gonna get the most they can because they know they can get it. So
I'll see if I can find a 3D print file and just run some
okay.
off because that's nothing. Yeah,
Well,
seat risers is easy.
Yeah, you're probably the only person I know that has a 3D printer that I know that like I know. I'm sure probably guys I know, but like I don't. I've got a CNC machine, but for wood products, but I don't have a 3D printer by any means yet. But
I keep
yes, that
telling myself that's like the next progression is like a laser or CNC. I don't know. I reached a point this year, like I came into this year like, yeah, we're going to expand into this, and this. And then from completely unexpected from to be really like mid December until just in the last like 2 weeks, I have been non freaking stop. And it's a good problem to have, but
yeah,
I got all my returning customers from last year that wanted updated stuff, plus the word of mouth spread, and it just absolutely donkey stomped it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to expand yet because
yeah,
I was treading water trying to keep up, and
really,
I got to a point where my lead time was like 3 weeks. Like an order would come in and I would know as soon as it hit, like I'm not even gonna get to look at that for 2 weeks. Like
wow.
just drowning.
It's
Good
almost
problems to have.
I'd say that's a good problem to have. Of course, then you get somebody complains about they're not getting their stuff soon enough. You're like, well, look, it's a one person show here. It's not it doesn't happen
I
overnight.
tell you what, in all that time, I had one person
Yeah,
complain, and they had the smallest lead time of anybody in like weeks and weeks. And to be honest, like, pulling the curtain back a little bit, that dude would have had his stuff before he ever made that complaint. He
yeah,
just, he couldn't make a decision because,
yeah.
like,
I
with the
saw that.
custom work like that, you send him a proof. And
Mm-hmm.
then I mean, this person literally gave me a like Microsoft Paint drawing of like,
Yeah,
this is what I want. I made it look real good, and I sent it to him. He's like, oh, I'm not sure that's what I want. What about like this? And I was like, well, you can't do that because of XYZ. You should do this. And it was just like a lot of back and forth of like it was circling a place that wasn't even the order anymore. And I was just like, I was trying to work with it, but like
yeah,
if you get the proof and you want to completely change it 6 times, and I'm working on other orders. So like when I send a proof off, I don't sit there and wait for the email to come back. I jump to the next order.
yeah,
So if you can't make a decision, but I've got 8 people ahead of you, they're like, it's good, run it. I'm going to go run those while I'm waiting for you to figure it out. And so,
yeah,
but yeah, hundreds of orders and one complaint. I can live with that. I mean,
yeah.
all the other complaints were from people that aren't even customers.
Dang, that's crazy. That is wild.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go. What's up, Coleman? How you doing tonight?
Coleman, what's
We're
up?
uh we're getting your fans. I like that.
That's awesome. I appreciate the guys stopping in and my wife. I appreciate all of them stopping in. It's cool.
Oh, was that your wife that commented it had everything you needed?
Yeah, that's a running joke. When I bought the boat, um, when I bought my boat, I'd never owned a boat my entire life. My ex brother in laws had them, but I never owned a boat. And instead of building my wood shop that I was going to build, I decided I was going to take my money and buy a bass boat that I always wanted. And I've been looking at
Mhm.
kayaks, but I said I'm gonna buy a boat. Anyway, we go down and find this boat. It's about I don't know, $1,500 more than my budget was at the time. So I had to borrow some money to get it from her because she had money that I didn't have at that point. So I had to borrow. Anyway, I get
I
the
can
boat. It's got
feel
a
that.
yeah, it's got a 7-inch graph on the console. It's got a 5-inch graph up front. And I told her, I said, "This boat's got everything I need, sweetheart. Everything I need. It's perfect." I mean, it really was for somebody who, when I got out of fishing, literally when I got out of fishing, there was no such thing as the sonar we have today. Like it was gray. It was grayscale screens. It was the little cartoon fish blips. I mean, there was none of this we have today. So what was on that boat was like by far, way far past what I'd ever had. Well, within
Mhm.
3 months, I bought the boat in May. June, July, August. Yeah, August. I bought 2 new units, 2 9-inch units, and forward-facing sonar to go on the boat. I dropped about $3 grand just to outfit the boat, and it had everything it needed. So she gives me every time I buy something like the kayak, she already knows. It's like, yep, it's got everything it needs, doesn't it? So
That's so funny. When
yeah,
when I got rid of, so my PWR was black and gray. And so I got rid of the PWR and got the Titan X, and it's black and blue.
yeah.
And I showed Kelly a picture before it got here. I'm like, this is what it's going to look like. And she looked at it. She's like, looks like the other one. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's not even the same color. But I'm like, this one's bigger this way, whatever. And she's like, yeah, it looks like the other one.
It's the
Like,
same exact one. Yeah,
kayak's
exactly.
a kayak.
Yeah,
Everything
everything.
he needs $10,000 later, it still didn't have everything.
Yeah, yeah. Because about a year and a half after that, I bought the Ghost trolling motor, which is a $4,000 spend, and then I got a 12-inch unit the other day from one of our viewers. He messaged me and said, "Hey, dude, I got one. Come get it," and I'm going to pay him for that at a very deep discounted price, of course. But now I'm like, I've got one 12-inch unit. I'm like, I need two more 12-inch units, and those things aren't cheap, and I don't have the money for $4,000 worth of grass on the boat, but it'd be nice to have. But yeah.
Well, once you get one 12-inch, the other ones don't look right anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so I've got two 9-inch screens, and I've got to figure out a bracketing system to go on the console because a 91 Ranger they don't make off the shelf brackets for. So I've got to rig that up still. But yeah, I've got the forward facing, it's got the 12-inch on it, and but yeah, it's definitely once you see that you're like, man, I can read the maps because again, I have to 45 years old, I had to get glasses, so I'm like. I'm sitting there squinting at these 9-inch screens driving down Gunnersville going, I can't see if that's a fish or if that, whatever, so.
Oh my God. All last year, I was looking, I had a 7-inch Lowrance Hook 7 on my
Yep.
kayak. And all year I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm like, what is that? And I'm like cleaning the screen because I think it's the screen. It's not the screen. It was me.
That's
And
hilarious.
this year I sold that off to another angler I know with full intentions of getting the Eagle Eye. And
Yeah.
then when the Titan came in, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to put any sonar on it. I'm just going to go fishing because
Yeah.
I only want the forward facing to help eliminate dead water. And I only want that because I want to do better in tournaments. I was like, and why do I care? Like the tournaments became like too much of a focus when they should just be a secondary. So
Yeah.
now I've just been fun fishing more than anything. But even in the events, I'm just, instead of looking at a sonar and trying to see, okay, the water's this and this depth and trying to like figure it out, I'm just doing what I did for most of my life. And I'm just
Yep.
getting out on the lake and I'm killing the motor for a second and I'm just kind of looking around, watching. And like I see, Marty always talks about look for the dragonflies and the butterflies and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I see them over there kind of messing around. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go over there. And then a couple minutes later, I'm catching fish. And I'm like, I would never have even looked and noticed that because
Yep.
I would have been like, well, the water temp's this. So let's go back here where I know it's going to be, XYZ and then not catch fish for 5 hours or
Right.
stare at the screen and try to figure out what it is I'm looking at because I don't know half the time anyway.
Right.
So I'm completely electronics free at the moment.
There you go.
And I can't tell yet if it's helping or not, but it feels like it's helping.
I think you know, I think the electronics can definitely dumb some senses until you start realizing that you can use those senses kind of together as a combination. Because when I got forward facing, I was typical like everybody else. I'm staring at it and I'm chasing every dot in the water, and I'd turn it off and I'd go catch fish, or I'd turn it on, I might catch whatever.
Hmm.
But for me again, it was going back to I tell people this all the time, and I've told a lot of guys. The guy that I bought the 12-inch unit from, I feel like I can do more damage sitting behind the wheel on those electronics than I can up on the forward-facing sonar because I can eliminate a ton of dead water really quickly using 2D, down scan, side scan, stuff like that. So, but yeah, you can get caught up in that forward-facing. I fished a tournament with a guy, and I didn't realize it until I fished it with him. I'd had my forward-facing for probably a year, and we go to fish
Hmm.
Lanier in a club tournament with him, and he's an older gentleman. He had just gotten forward-facing on the boat, maybe 6 months prior. And we get the day before the tournament, he goes, my forward facing doesn't look right. Something's wrong. I can't get it to work. I said, you've had it on the boat for 6 months. He goes, yeah, I just don't mess with it. Well, all right, when I get to your house, and my background in the Marine Corps is avionics, so I did a lot of electronics work, stuff like that. So I've got a knowledge of how to install electronic gear. But anyway, I get to his house, everything's backwards. I mean, he's got the sonars upside down. I mean, it's all kind of. So I deinstalled it, reinstalled it, and all tournament long, he's sitting his butt seat up front, just doing this. And I'm like,
Oh, that's
dude,
funny.
you're killing me. You're killing me.
So tell me about Tallapoosa River. Is that like a massive river, or is
It's
that like?
it's a long river. It goes, it feeds at Wedowee and then it feeds down to Martin. It's one of the only rivers over in Alabama that I know of that doesn't go through a major city, so it's not really overly polluted. Of course, it gets stained up pretty good, but it's like the house I have over in Alabama is on the Tallapoosa River, and where I'm at on the river, you're talking I can throw a rock across it. It's probably I don't know 40, 50 yards wide at that, if that. I may be giving it way more than that.
Oh, okay, so it's not a lock and dam type river.
No, no, you can't. Once you get, if you float down the Tallapoosa out of Georgia, you end up at the Wedowee Dam, and then you're done there. You can't go any further south. You have to get out and go down, and then get back in from there.
Oh, it runs about 2 to 3 feet. Okay, so I'll tell you because Jess asked kayak question. I live near Tallapoosa River and want a kayak just to float, possibly fish. Which sit on top kayak would be the best? So my answer to a kayak question, whenever the word river is in there, is pretty universally the same. But I wanted to know if it was a lock and dam river because sometimes with those you want to get into a bigger boat. Man, it's the RVR 119 from Bonafide, honestly. I have a Titan X, but I also have the Bonafide. What's really great about the Bonafide is off the showroom floor, that thing is perfection. You can literally grab that and a paddle and go out for the day, and you're not going to have any problems. It's super easy to add like an anchor to, put a kayak crate in it, all that stuff. But the Bonafide RVR 119 is not going to break the bank. It's going to be great on a river like that. And if you have a paddle shop near you that has Bonafides, go demo one. Because that's one of the best things you can do is go to a kayak shop and paddle around, see what you like, try a couple different kayaks.
Now they live out near me, and there's a couple places. My daughter and her boyfriend they go. They bought their own now, but there's a couple places there on Tallapoosa River that rent kayaks over in Alabama that you can get, and they may have demos that you can take out. I don't know. I don't know what all they sell, but
Yeah, that helps a ton.
yeah,
Yeah, so like she said, some spots may be like 15 foot deep. One of my favorite smallmouth rivers is a lot like that. Average 2 to 3. It gets as deep as like 20 in some places, and I'll go kick that RVR down a bank somewhere. And what I really like about it, I have a motor for it that I don't know I've ever had it out with the motor on it, but you can literally paddle that thing upriver and it just like coasts over it, and
hmm,
it's stable enough I can still stand up in it. And it's not like the Titan, but I don't want to go dragging the Titan around on some gravel bars and stuff anyway.
right, right, yeah. That's the only bad thing about getting a 12.5 foot kayak that I got. I'm like, I don't know how good that would be going in river type water. I'm sure.
12 and a half is not too bad. The RVR is 11 foot 9. But my PWR that I had was 12 foot 9. And I used to take that one on the rivers all the time when the water was up because it had two motors on it.
Yeah.
And I would go pull the motors up when I hit a gravel bar and drag it across it. And um, even at like 12.9, when you get into those little choke points, unless you're getting totally sideways and banging into stuff, with obviously you don't want to be going down sideways banging into stuff anyway.
Right.
It's not too bad at 12 foot. The 13s and 14s are a little much, but
Yeah.
like I wouldn't want to try to take a pro angler down
Hmm.
like a big old
Yeah.
Hobie.
I'm still learning all the kayak stuff. So like for 12.5, I'm like that's a good sized kayak, and then I'm like, I'm a big dude, so that's one reason I went with 12.5. Like I gotta get something that carries me plus any gear that I want to take, and I'm not gonna go crazy with gear. Like it's for like pond fishing is really what I got it for. Maybe a little bit of river fishing with if I get to go with the guys or whatever, but you know, so it's not my ideal. I'm not big on river fishing personally. That's just me. No, there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with it, but it's just not my cup of tea. I want to get on some ponds or small lakes or something like that.
See, around here, if you want smallmouth, you got to get in the rivers. Like we have a couple lakes. That's honestly probably what I'm most excited about. So, like for those of you that don't know, especially if you're Tony's people, so you're not usually here. My wedding is in 3 weeks, and we close on our house next Wednesday. So I'm moving from Missouri to Illinois, which I already work in Illinois. It's like a half an hour drive. It's not the biggest change in the world, but I was real on the fence about the whole Illinois thing. And we tried to find a place in Missouri. Long story short, we couldn't find one here that was going to be nearly as great as over there. And it's honestly a better situation. But what I'm super excited about is that now my fishing license in Illinois will be resident because the non resident is fairly costly. And I fish so much stuff over here in Missouri that I never really paid it. I would get like a day pass and maybe go fish something, and the non-resident Missouri fishing license is not that bad. So I'm still going to compete in the tournaments and stuff over here, but I'm going to have a whole mess of lakes, rivers, there's strip mines, all kinds of stuff that I've never fished before. I'm
There you
about to
go.
go on Steve's fishing tour.
There you go. What's the non-resident for Illinois cost?
I don't remember. That's a good
Well, I
question.
just so like here, Georgia, years ago, Georgia license, if you went to Alabama, you paid a little bit more and you got an Alabama license or you get a 3-day whatever. Well, we had the water wars years ago over the water that goes through the Lake Lanier and stuff like the Chattahoochee River and all that stuff. So now Alabama's is like, and Eric may correct me, I can't remember. I think it's like $60 now for
That's not bad.
a non-resident license in Alabama, where it used to be next to nothing. Because Georgia fishing license is like, God, I think it's $9 here, $9 or $12 here now. I mean, it's not very expensive to fish here for a resident, but I don't know what the non-resident cost is.
See, now I look stupid because our resident here in Missouri is like, I think $12 is what I pay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I remember the Illinois non-resident being like over $100. It's like $35,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
so it's much cheaper than I remember.
yeah, Eric said the non-resident $67 a year. So yeah, that's what for us to fish, because we're right here on the line of Georgia and Alabama. So we're gonna fish a lot of the eastern lakes in Alabama and then whatever in Georgia. So it gets expensive.
Yeah, and then there's guys like Jacob Hepner is over here by me, and I don't know how many non-resident fishing license that dude has.
Yeah,
It's probably a lot. He travels all over the place, but
yeah,
yeah, I what's the ironic thing is now is going to be because I remembered the Illinois one so incorrectly. It's going to end up being more expensive for the Missouri non-resident. I'm now
yeah,
afraid to look
yeah,
because I will have a Missouri non-resident, but
yeah.
Jess said she's never even caught a smallmouth. Man, if you have some by you, I hope you hook into one. Though I will say, Alex is always telling me because we don't have spotted bass, or I mean, we have. I don't know. If I caught a spotted bass, I probably wouldn't even know it was a spotted bass. But we don't have spotted bass like y'all have spotted bass.
Hmm.
So I always describe smallmouth as like they're like fish that just drink Monster Energy drink all day. They're like their name's Kyle. They punch drywall. They're mad at the whole world and just like they donkey stomp everything. And Alex says that's a lot like what the spotted bass over there are. So
Yeah,
it's probably a
spotted bass.
pretty equivalent.
Yeah, spotted bass, and I've only caught one smallmouth. I finally caught one end
Speaking
of
of
last year.
Alex.
Went up to Chickamauga and caught one with Robert Blowski. But yeah, spotted bass are the you know they're the ADHD fish of the water. I think. I mean they're huge. I mean I say huge. They get big. They pull hard. And me and Eric's talked about this. We're like, we don't know. I've never caught a big smallmouth, but I don't know that some spotted bass wouldn't drag a smallmouth in a tug of war. I mean, they're crazy. I mean, and they'll hit anything, but they're not. Maybe it's because we have them so much here. A lot of guys target them here, but
Hmm.
they can get smart. The spots can get real smart, like on Lanier, and then I fished Chattooga Saturday, which is a North Georgia mountain lake, and they'll chase a lure and they'll stop and just look at it, and then they'll turn away. Where I've heard smallmouth, once you get them excited, they'll bite anything you throw down there. So I don't know.
Yeah, it depends because I like to fish a lot of clear water for them, and I'll watch them top water especially. I'll
Yeah,
watch them follow it, and then you pause, and sometimes they'll get their nose so close to it, and you twitch it, and 9 times out of 10, that twitch they're going to annihilate it like they can't help it.
yeah,
But at least once a trip, you'll see them. You'll tap that, and they just turn and walk away.
yeah,
And usually, if they turn and walk away, if you keep throwing it, eventually they just get pissed, and
yeah,
then they just come at it because they just can't help themselves. One of my favorite smallmouth catches was a Berkeley Chapo, and I cast it way up on the bank, and it's burned it back to me, and the fish hit it and either missed it or didn't take a genuine hit, and so I before I could even register it because I'm still retrieving it, it did it again, and so I stopped and started and it did it and I stopped and the next time I started it just annihilated it. And it
yeah.
was so cool to watch it like I don't know what it was doing
Thinking
with it.
about it, just thinking about it. It's like
Yeah.
maybe.
It was like go away, go away, go away, go
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just get
That
so mad.
I think there's a reason why the smallmouth and the spots, interbreed, because they're pretty much the same fish. I mean, other than the markings, obviously, they have a lot of, and of course, typically your smallmouth probably get a little bit bigger on comparative to our spots down here. I know there's some spots out in the west that get really big, but 5-6 pound spots out here are just like hard. They're not rare, but you catch them. You caught one. It's a good fish. But
Yeah,
they're
my biggest smallmouth is I caught it last December. It was 4.08 pounds, and it was
yeah,
right at 20.5 inches. I mean,
yeah.
just a absolute monster. And honestly, that's a very good smallmouth, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not even like, there's guys like Cole Lawrence. Actually, Cole, the same day I caught that one, Cole caught one that I think was 4.1 pounds and 20 inches, I think, on the same fishery, couple miles apart. Because when we met back up later, I was like, "Man, you're not gonna believe what I caught." And he's like, "Wait, are you serious?" Because his was almost the same. And my buddy, that other buddy that was with me, was just like, "This is unfreaking real,"
Yeah,
because you don't see them like that, a lot.
it's
Like
funny.
some, yeah,
It's funny when you get one like on a fishery where you catch a bigger fish. It's funny how there'll be multiples that day that do that bite. Or normally you wouldn't see that happen. You catch a five and your buddy catches a five, or you catch two fives that day. And you're like, this never happens. It's weird how
yeah.
that when the big ones decide to eat, they all eat together. It seems like.
It's almost like when the conditions come together to make that kind of fish eat,
Yep.
it's just a good day for catching them.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of it's just luck. And what's funny is that particular day, I only caught, I think that was my second or third fish for the whole day. And the other two, they were both smallmouth, but the other two were like 10 inches and 12 inches, like just super small. And
Right.
my buddy had caught a few, but we had been out there all day. And it was just like you were grinding, hoping to get a bite. And I was lazy casting, like where mentally you've given up. And so you're just
Mm-hmm.
going through the paces, and I'm just winging the spinner bait. And I tossed it out there, and I was reeling. And when that thing hit, I just kind of started leaning in, and then I felt it. I was like, I just whipped it. I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
Like, you just don't expect it anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, when that thing slid into the net, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
And that's the one thing that I know the boat guys and the kayak guys. We give each other a little bit of riffing sometimes, and I love all my kayak buddies and stuff. But that's the one thing about having a boat, because as soon as I said that about the big ones eat the same during the day. A couple of trips ago, it was I caught a fish. It got off at the boat, but it was on a certain structure, or, the way the lake's set up. Well, I was
Hmm.
like, I know where another one of these is at, just like this. And sure enough, I went and caught a 4 pound spot. I had hooked a 3 pound spot, at least a 3 pound spot. It got off at the boat. I saw it, and then I went to the next spot just down the river some, or just down the lake some, and on the same exact setup, there was another one sitting there in the same, well, not the same exact spot, but almost the same exact spot. So it's just that's the one thing about a boat is you can go. I'm gonna go run 30 minutes this way and go find the same thing and fish it that way. So that's
Yeah,
the
you
hard
cover
part.
a lot more water.
Well, you can, but you can also burn up a lot of your day doing that, chasing ghost. Is what I call it. Because
Yeah.
I'll eat up some. My buddy of mine one time accused. He goes, "You just want to run your boat, don't you?" I'm like, "No, I'm trying to find fish," and then you end up running past a ton of them to do it. So
You know what?
that's
The kayak guys aren't immune from that, because I'll, especially us guys with motors, especially if you got two motors. So I've
yeah,
got on a Titan, I have a stern mount that I use for just running around. And then
yeah,
just like you guys, when I get to a spot, I drop the bow mount down and use it for the
yep,
spot lock and the trolling. But there was a tournament not long ago. I forget how many miles I covered, but it was a lot. And there was one point where I had been working this area probably just how I should, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go 3 miles over there because it's got to be better. And so I just had the motor on and I'm playing on my phone and everything else. And it takes me forever to get over there. So I finally get over. I set up, I make like 6 casts, and I'm like, they're not here. I want to go back over this way. So I went 3 miles to make like 6 casts, and then I'm burning this other direction. And I was like, it occurred to me in that moment, I'm like, if I had a boat, this is what I would do all day. I
yeah,
would make like 3 casts. When I didn't catch a fish, I'd be convinced that they're way over there because I
yeah,
could just get there in a minute. And I would just
absolutely.
spend all day zooming around like I'm Bassmaster.
It's funny you say that because I fished Gunnersville a couple of weekends ago, and the last day I fished was Sunday. The wind wasn't quite as bad, and I don't know how long. Eric may know how long Browns Creek is, but anyway, to end the day, I'm leaving from the docks I had been catching them on that are way back in the back of Browns Creek, and I leave my docks and there's this kayak. He's there, so I run up. Gosh, I run half the distance back to the boat ramp, and I stop and I fish for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and here he comes. Here's kayak. So I run again up to another spot. Here he comes. Here's his kayak. I'm like, he made it to the ramp about the same time I did. I'm like, that is it. You're talking at least, I would say, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it's probably close to 3 mile run from back to
Yeah.
front. I'm going, he's committed to this, man, all the way from the. I mean, because he came from further back in Browns than I was at. He was probably mile further back than I was when I first saw him, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, his battery's gonna be dead by the time he gets there, but he motored right along.
We don't even blink an eye. And so, like, my stern mount, I have a 50 amp hour, and my bow mount is 100 amp hour. And so, when I got done that tournament, I want to say it was like 16 or 18 miles of total covered water when it was all
Wow,
said and done. My stern
that's a
mount
long day.
motor, yeah, I it
Dang.
was wild. And so I checked my battery level on the stern mount. I'm like, it's got to be close to tapped. I've never gotten it below 50%. It was at like 26%. The bow
Wow.
mount motor was at like 85, which is in the back of my head all day. I'm like, because I'm full speed everywhere. I can't, like,
Yeah.
a kayak doesn't go, it only goes about 5.5, 6 miles an hour with full speed. So that's not very fast. And it feels slow to begin with when you're going on a long run. So I
Yeah.
never conserve battery life. So as it's getting later in the day, I'm like, I got to stop going away from the ramp because at some point the bow mount has to get me back and it's slower than the stern mount. And
Right.
so I turned around, started working back. And if I would have gone another probably mile, I'd have been on the bow mount the rest of the day because I
How
would have tapped that stern out.
how much speed do you get out of your bow mount?
So the XI3 on the Titan is like 4.9, 5 miles an hour on
Wow.
ideal conditions. It's about 4.5 average. The stern mount is almost 6 ideal and about 5.25 to 5.5 on average.
Wow. Because I'm the Ghost on mine, and obviously we're talking different trolling motor. But the Ghost on mine on the front of the 91 Ranger, like you said, perfect conditions, is 3.4 on the front,
Yeah.
and that's a heavier boat plus me in there. I mean, I'm like, I'm surprised. I was thinking y'all be flying in those things. I would figure they would go a lot faster than that on the
So
back.
Andrew Blair has an NK 300 on the back of his Titan, and he's over 7 miles an hour on a regular basis. Like he just scoots. There's a guy here in Missouri, Lance Burris. I don't remember what his top speed is. I can't keep up with his kayaks,
Yeah.
both metaphorically and literally. Uh, but so I want to say his RVR 119 was over 7 miles an hour with the one motor. His XTR, I think, is like 6, which is a real big kayak.
Yeah.
He's basically Top Gun. He's always the fastest one, but I want an NK 300 for the Titan because I want to do like Andrew and go 7 miles an hour.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
in a kayak, that's scooting.
Oh no, that's fast. Don't get me wrong. I mean, at 3.5 miles an hour on max power, it'll throw you out of the boat on a with the 3.4. So I can imagine what it feels like on 7 sitting on top of the water like that.
The fastest I've had a kayak that I can recall in recent years was like 9.8, and it was my PWR on the river. I was going back down, and I had it there. There's an area where the water is only like, I don't know, maybe 4 inches deep, like just deep enough for the motor to be chewing water. And
Yeah.
so just coasting down, I was already going like 4. So I just maxed the motor out and I got to almost 10. And it just felt like at any given second it was going to spin out because, I mean, it's a river. So it's not perfect straight
Yeah.
anyway. And then I had it at like 8 and change on the lake when a boat behind me had put wake and I was surfing the wake. But
Oh
that
wow.
one, the kayak was chine walking
Oh
because
wow.
I'm like on the wave. So the bow is not even touching the water. I
Yep.
can see the sunlight under the bow and it's just chine walking. And at that point, I got my feet on the foot steering. I'm not moving them and I'm holding the underside of the seat because I'm just waiting for this thing to flip and buck me. And so I'm just holding on like this, and I'm peeking down at the graph, watching the speed climb up, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then when it was over, I was like, that's freaking awesome. But at the time, I was like, I'm looking around like, that's not tethered, that's not tethered, that's not
Oh yeah,
tethered.
oh yeah. That's
Just
exactly right. It's like I made bad decisions before I made this decision. So
yeah, and now I'm committed. Like I don't dare reach over to see if I can clip the tether onto that. Like, nope, we're
yeah,
committed now.
doing it, staying with what you got because otherwise you will flip it then for sure.
That's right. So you had said on Facebook, you had made a joking comment. You're like, I don't know why he wants to talk to me. And I tell you what really got me following your stuff is I was watching one of the live wells, and you guys were talking about jerk baits.
Yeah,
And I had jerk baits, but I never threw them because when I would try to learn them, I was getting frustrated. And I had said something in the comment about like, I don't have the patience for it. I just want to throw it out and I just want to reel it like crankbait. And you're like, if that's what you're like, just throw it out and reel it like crankbait
yeah.
and just, develop into that. And so like 2 weeks later, I went out and I took that jerk bait with me and I just started throwing it, casting it like a crankbait because I couldn't get anything else. I couldn't get anything to bite. And it
Right.
was fall time and I was on a smallmouth river and nothing was working. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I just started chucking that 110 out and reeling it back like a crankbait. And the smallmouth went berserk. And for like the next 4 or 5 weeks, that was all I did. Throw jerk bait, reel it back, throw it, reel it back. And I still have not learned how to work a jerk bait, but I have caught fish on a jerk bait. And it was all because you told me just throw it and reel it. So every time I watch your stuff or I watch your podcast, I always learn something. And like that's the one that really stuck with me, but I always learn something.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah.
Connor says he gets about 4.5 on a good day with his.
Hey, that's still. I mean, that's still moving. That's really good. I mean,
Yeah, he said that the Titan's wine has a lot of drag, but yeah. So the thing about the Titan, my PWR was super stable too, but the thing with the Titan is when you're in that kayak and you stand up, it just don't even move.
yeah,
It's like being on a dock.
yeah. And I'm hoping that Moken is a good stable platform. That's what I want is something stable again. I'm not 20 years old anymore jumping off stupid stuff, so I don't want to be up there like a ballerina trying to dance around.
Dude, I'm getting to a point now. I'll be 42 this year, and I'm getting to a point where like when I look, like if you're on the side of a retaining wall and I look and I'm just gonna jump down or like out of the back of a pickup, I used to just jump. Now I stop and I look and I'm like, man, I don't know about that.
I call it. I'm in construction. I've had landscape businesses, and I was in the Marine Corps, so jumping off stuff was never a problem. But I hit about 35 when I noticed my knees starting to hurt a little bit. I'm 46 now, and I say when it comes to getting in and out of the bed of my truck, I make life decisions. I mean, it's a all right. We're going to put this knee down first. We're going to switch around, sitting on the butt on the seat. We're going to hop down the shortest distance possible. There's
I
no
would I would not have guessed you were 46.
46 and a pawpaw,
Man,
4-year-old granddaughter.
man, I can't imagine being a
She'll be 5.
grandfather. I don't even let my daughter date.
My kids are 24 this year, 24 and 22 this year. So yeah,
Man, yeah, Kira's 14 and she's going into freshman. We went and got her registered at the new school the other day, and I was jokingly telling her I was going to embarrass her because she wasn't nearly as nervous coming out as she was. This school's a lot bigger than her old
yeah,
school, so like when we were coming up to the high school, she saw the size of it. She was like, "Oh my gosh!" And but so when we got done, she felt a lot better. We were walking out at the same time as some boy, and he's like taller than me. I'm 6'1". This kid looked like he was 7'9", and he just some Justin Bieber looking dude. And so I made the comment to her. I said, "You're not as nervous as you were now." She's like, "No," and I was like, "And you might, find some good looking boy. I don't know." And she's like, "Yeah, I noticed him too." And I said, I said, "Your first day, I'm going to drop you off." I said, "I'm not going to make you ride the bus." I said, "Because I'm just going to lean out the window and I'm just going to honk the horn and be like, 'I'm Kira's dad.'" Like, she's looking for cute boys. Like, and she's
yeah.
like, "Don't you dare."
That's
I'm
pretty
like,
fun.
it's going to be a lot harder to say you can't date when like we live in the middle of nowhere now. So where's she going to go? She doesn't have
Yeah,
her own license. But like, we're gonna go live in town, and you're gonna have all your little friends and live in a subdivision. It's gonna be a big old adjustment for
Oh yeah, for
for all of
sure,
us.
for sure. Yeah, I'm a girl dad, so my girls are like nobody can pick on us like our dad can. So they say I toughened them up because I picked on them when they were young.
Oh yeah, I pick on my daughter constantly. I steal her stuff. She's the biggest scaredy cat on the planet. She can watch me walk down the hall, and if she takes her eyes off me for a second, and I just like yell, she'll jump out of her skin and get super mad. And so I
Oh
scare
goodness,
her constantly.
that's too funny. Yeah, my
Hey,
girls
Holly
are
made it.
big into the what is that crime stuff? You know, like the
Crime
uh,
junkie.
yeah, but they so one of the classes they had in high school was like crime scene. What am I trying to say? My wife
Forensics.
forensics, yeah, well, something like that. So they studied all the serial killers. My kids knew they knew all that stuff. Their mother watches all the crime TV shows. They watch it all. They knew more about the stuff than the teacher did. You know, it was hilarious. So they're not scaredy cats like that unless they're home by themselves and all of a sudden the house starts making noises. They're like, Dad, the house is making noises. Like, well, you watch the stuff on TV. What do you think it is? Go ask it some questions.
Yeah, Kelly watches all that stuff. I listen to Crime Junkie religiously,
Really?
which fun fact irritates the hell out of Danny. So in the comment section one time, I think it was when I think Chase was on a podcast. I don't know, it was somebody from like Indiana or something. And I commented, I'm like, "Do y'all know the people from Crime Junkie? Because they're up in Indiana." And Danny went on a rant because I guess his wife and daughter listened
Yeah.
to it, and he's like, "You can tell when you listen to it, it's scripted." And I'm like, "It's supposed to be scripted. Like everybody knows it's scripted, but Danny hates Crime Junkie."
I don't think I've ever seen it. My wife watches the
It's a
crime TV.
podcast.
Yeah, my wife watches the crime TV stuff, and I just when I come downstairs, I said, "Oh, we're watching murder TV again." That's all I mean, whatever. I don't.
That's what
I
Kelly watches.
yeah, she watches all that stuff, so I don't particularly care. I just don't watch a lot of regular TV. Mine's mostly YouTube stuff or whatnot. So we
Yeah,
watch
me
some
too.
regular stuff, but yeah, it's a whatever. That's what they get into. They can have it. That I'm not a big crime junkie guy. Of course, I was a police officer for 8 years. I don't have any care to watch police officer TV shows. So
Yeah, see, I'm weird like that. So I don't, I'm ex-LEO too, and like, so I don't watch. I will occasionally stop on cops if I'm scrolling through because sometimes it's just funny to laugh, but
right,
mostly it's PTSD. But like, I don't watch cops, but like, I like stuff like I like the fake stuff a lot of times. So like Criminal Minds, I'll
yeah,
watch that all day long. But I do like the Forensic Files and First 48 or what's that one? I can't remember what it's called now. There's one where like it's specifically about lovers who kill each other, and that's like one of Kelly's favorites. So she definitely knows how to get rid of my body, and she's a nurse, so she knows how to like take me apart and fit me
yeah.
into small stuff.
Now I like the stuff like I like the Dexters. I watch Dexter. Anything Dexter related is fun. That's a good watch. Stuff like that I'll watch, but I'm not into the real crime TV stuff.
See, I've never seen Dexter, but there's that show. I want to say it's called something like You or something like that. When I was single, it made me so freaking annoyed because girls were like obsessed with this guy and this TV show. He picks up girls on like Tinder and stuff, if I remember correctly, and then he like kills them or like
Huh?
traps them in his basement and stuff. And girls were like obsessed with this, and I was like, "What is wrong with women?"
Yeah, this is they're saying I can fix him. I can fix him.
Yeah, they're like the redder the flag, the more chargy the bull. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly right.
Thank God for my fiance. Like I'm so excited to marry that woman. I'm marrying way above my station,
Hey, there you
like
go,
way
man.
out of my league.
I think a lot of us do. I'm that way too. I'm definitely married. I married a good one. So,
Man, it sure makes life a lot better.
oh yeah, yeah. Like I
So,
said, I got home today and she had emptied my trailer off before we went to go cut grass. And I got home, I was like, "Did you do that?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That was like 15 minutes. I was on my way home." Yeah, we had to go take care of this. And I thought here I'm gonna have to go work for 30 minutes to get ready to go work for 2 hours.
yeah, that's a nice surprise to come home to.
for sure.
So your
Absolutely.
kids are in your 20s. How long you guys been married now?
Oh gosh, man, you'd ask that question.
Yeah,
22
it
years.
can be a ballpark.
22 years.
So I asked, I had Dwayne Wally on last week, and
Yep.
I asked him the same question. Being married that long, what's a piece of advice you got for a guy getting ready to go into it?
All right. This is the best piece of advice I got. Every morning when you wake up, say I'm sorry. No.
You know what? There's a lot of days I do that now. I don't even know what I'm sorry for. I just know I did something.
Just look at her and go, I'm sorry. Just I'm sorry. Um, you know, everybody's got that cliche stuff like don't go to bed mad and things like that.
Is that even possible, though?
There's days where you're just going to be irritated. I guess my biggest piece of advice is, Christy and I, we just, she's my best friend. I'm not going to do anything that she can't be a part of. Like I go fishing a lot. She's always got a seat on the boat. If I go with somebody and she says, "Hey, I want to do something else," I'm going to do that. The biggest thing I can say is just communicate. Me and Eric were talking about this the other day. We got you hear the guys are like, "Man, I just want to go on a guys trip and get away from the wives." I don't have that. If you
Yeah, I
don't,
can't relate to that getaway kind of
I
thing. Like, I don't want to get away from her.
no, it's communicate. So even if Christy and I get in an argument, 5 minutes later we can talk, and
Hmm.
it's not I don't know. Maybe have the mind of a goldfish when it comes to being upset with the other person. As soon as you blink, your mind needs to reset because at the end of the day, that's the person. All joking aside with the murder TV stuff and stuff like that, that's the person that knows every detail about you, whatever. Eventually, I don't know. Just communicate. And that's the big thing. Like I give my wife crap because she can talk to the wall, and I tell her all the time. You talk all the time, but the thing is, she never has to know what I'm thinking about, or she never has to guess what I'm thinking about, and vice versa. And so, communication is one of those things that just is. And we spent a lot of time away. So when we started dating, I was in the Marine Corps. Um, literally. Anyway, well, I'll spare you the details. We started dating. I was in the Marine Corps, got married, and immediately got deployed. So
Oh,
I was
man.
gone. Yeah, I was gone for 6 months. Came back, got married. Literally came back, got married the next day. A year and a half later, I took a job while still in the Marine Corps with a contract company over in Iraq. So I went to Iraq working for the Marine Corps, but as a contractor while I was still in the Marine Corps, and I stayed 2 years straight. I came home for 42 days in 2 years. So we got used to not seeing each other on a daily basis, but the difference was we talked every day. This is back when Skype was just becoming a thing.
Uh huh.
So, but we talked, and even when I was overseas in Afghanistan the first time, um, we had the DSL lines you could use, and you had to call like a base in Alaska, and they would patch you through to Atlanta. And, we'd talk for 15 minutes, and it would go dead, and but we talked every day. So that's the biggest thing is communicate. Um, you know, I don't know. I mean, like making purchases, we talk about it. We just communicate. So that's my piece of advice.
Yeah, I do that too. Like, the kayak was a business purchase. But like, because up until this point, we've been together almost 4 years. We don't live together. We don't have the combined finances, but like, still, even with that, like, when it came time where I wanted to buy the kayak, I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Because I'm like, we got the wedding coming up and all this other stuff, and like, it didn't seem right to do it without
Yeah.
her. And she, she's great. She was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so we do pretty good with the communicate. She does very good with the communicating thing. Um, there are times where I think stuff, and so in my head it's been communicated, but I never actually said it.
Right.
It's just like almost like I check it off, like, oh, okay, I'm going to deal with that. So then I'm just like, all right, I'm dealing with it. But she has no clue that I'm dealing with it. And then so she's like, well, you could just, tell me you're dealing with it. So
Right.
definitely get better at that. Eric said, I've been married 18 years in July. When you argue, say what you got to say and move on. Don't
That's it.
dwell and keep it moving.
That's
That,
it.
you know what? That's really good advice too, because it's easy to just like repeat it. and
Yep.
you're not getting anywhere when you repeat it. But
That's why I said have the mind like a goldfish. Every time you blink, your mind resets. There's no reason to. I mean, you're mad, she's mad. Now there's just two people mad. You still have to deal with whatever it is you're dealing with. You might as well communicate it, get it over with, and be done with it for sure.
there was I want to say it was Meat Eater. I think it was Steve Ranella was talking about it. One of the things that, like, I can't remember if he does it or he heard there's another couple that does it, but he's like, when me and my wife fight, when we get dug in on something, we assign it a number. So I'll be like, for me, this is a 10.
Yeah.
And she might be like, for me, this is a 4. He's like, and so then in that scenario, I quote unquote win because it means more to me than it does to her. He goes, there might be another one where she's like, this is a 9, and for me, it's only a 2. And it's like, whatever. He's like, the problem with that system is then when both people throw down a 9,
Yeah.
somebody's got to be like, you know what, it's really only a 2. And I was
Yeah.
like, I think if I looked at my fiance in a fight and said, you know, for me, this is an 8, I think she would be like, for me, this is a fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I'm the type of person, if I'm really found up about something, everything's a 10.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think a number system works.
We can't do that in my household because if I get like mad like about something, and I'm not talking about just anything she and I related, but if I'm automatically mad like it's like my wife has to look at me and go, you're awfully upset about something that just doesn't make any difference in the world. So it's just I'm the guy that goes 10 every time.
I like that. Sometimes you just got to build a bridge and get over it. Nobody's going to rewire in a day. I tell you what, my biggest thing that I've learned over the course of my life and relationships in general, but specifically with a quality relationship like the one I have now, is I don't look at stuff like when there's fights. It's not often, but like I don't think I've ever been in a fight where I'm like, I got to win, and I don't feel like I have to win. Usually, I'm just like I just want to fix it, whatever it is. It's
Yep.
usually my fault. I'm like, I just want to fix it.
We go back to my first piece of advice: just say I'm sorry.
My dad had a saying when I was growing up. It was he had two of them. One was, I didn't do it, you can't prove it, I want my lawyer.
Yeah.
And the other one was, you're right, I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that one just sounds patronizing when you actually use it, but it's funny if you step back and think about it, because a lot of times, at least in my experience, the guy is the one that's wrong. They tend to be much smarter than us.
Right. Well, and it's funny you say that because, like, again, going back to the communication thing, there's been so many disagreements that we've had, and you get to that point in the disagreement, either A, you forget about what you're disagreeing about, or B, you realize that as mad as you were, or as hard pressed as you were on your point of view, you're like, I'm wrong here, and I don't know that I can tell her at this point because I've already dug in so deep with this argument that I've got to be right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that every now and then.
Yep.
Or sometimes it just takes, a break from the disagreement or whatever, and like a couple minutes after, you're just like, I don't even care about this. Why am I
Right.
fighting about this?
Right. Exactly.
But
So I
yeah,
saw
go ahead.
I saw you pull that question up there. So
You believe in
on,
aliens?
on our weigh-in podcast, we have, and some of the live will too, we have a running joke. It's a question that everybody gets asked. Number one is, do you believe in Bigfoot? Well, we've kind of graduated from that because we've asked everybody. Now it's, do you believe in aliens? So that's what Eric's known for asking that question in the podcast. Going, do you believe in aliens or Bigfoot?
So I thought maybe he had watched some of mine, because we've done that a few times on this one too.
Have you?
Yeah, Bigfoot and aliens, man.
So Bigfoot, I'll answer that one since we're talking about it. I want to believe there's Bigfoot. I love the stories. I don't know necessarily that there is one, but if there is one, it would be the coolest thing ever. And aliens, I think that aliens do exist, yes. And depending on how analytical you want to get with, or whatever you want to call it, I believe there's alien life out there anyway. I believe we can't be the only blip that happened by chance somewhere.
There's no way.
Whatever you believe in, whether it believe, I don't care what religion or anything. There's just coincidences or whatever. But there's alien life. They've already proven they found life forms on other planets. So there's alien. That's considered alien. But I just can't believe we're the only intelligent stuff. Because if we are, somebody missed some good opportunities.
There's anytime I think of aliens, it's not a meme so much. I mean, I guess that's what you classify it as, but It's a dude took a picture of his significant other when she's getting like her hair dyed. So
Yeah.
it's in like the metallic,
Yeah.
crimping and all that. And it
Yeah.
says me busting out of Area 51 with my alien. It just cracks me up every time. You know,
Uh,
I want to believe in Bigfoot too. And it's like, it's kind of funny. I realized this the other day. It's sort of hypocritical and ironic. So I always say I want to believe in Bigfoot, but it's just not possible because we haven't found any of the bodies, and there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about why and all that. But
yeah.
so like I've almost resigned myself that like Bigfoot doesn't exist. But what I realized is if I look at my Jeep, like I don't even know, it just happened. There's a sticker on the back of a Bigfoot. It's actually a Yak Attack sticker. It's like the
Yeah.
only sticker of theirs I ever put on anything. It's a Bigfoot. He's got a paddle and a kayak under his arm, and he's walking off. And then on the back side windows of the Jeep, I put blacked out vinyl on them. So like I forget it's there a lot, but it's Bigfoot in the woods with a
Yeah.
U.S. flag behind him, just like walking. And the lighting was right the other day that when I was walking by the Jeep, I noticed them and just kind of like remembered that they're there. And I just chuckled to myself. I'm like, for a guy who doesn't think Bigfoot's real, you got a lot of Bigfoot on the Jeep.
Yep. Yep. Well, we so up in Blue Ridge, there's actually a Bigfoot museum. Blue Ridge, Georgia, there's a Bigfoot museum, and it's a really good museum.
No
Um,
shit.
yeah, and you take if you can research online a little bit, and they've got a Facebook page and stuff like that. But we went up, and my wife and I went up there a couple of years ago, and you can spend hours. I mean, there's documentary stuff in there. There's displays. There, I mean, it's a ton of stuff. And you start reading, and you're reading some of the articles and seeing some of the stuff they have. Then you're reading, going, it's almost like you're like, man, this could be possible. I mean, I don't know. It's a really cool museum. But you can go up there. I used to, like you said, I used to have a magnet on the back of the truck. Car wash stole it, so I don't have it no more. But I've got a metal sign over here somewhere. It's a silhouette of Bigfoot.
Hmm.
I love Bigfoot. I mean, I think it's great. I do it. Do I believe it exists? I don't know. I don't know. I've only had one thing happen in the woods that I would have thought was Bigfoot, and I told this a couple of times here recently. But I was bow hunting in Heard County, Georgia, which is apparently very big Bigfoot area. I didn't know that. And this was like dark. I mean, way before daylight. I get in the woods really early, and I'm sitting in this bow hunting stand. I hear knocking. Like it sounds like somebody's taking a hammer to a 2x4, but it's like 5 taps, and then it
Hmm.
stops. It'd be like 4 taps. Very, very, systematic. It's definitely got some frequency to it. Like there's not just randomness. But where I'm at, there's no houses for miles. Like they're not building a house. I mean, if a vehicle drives down the road, you can see the headlights maybe because it's a dirt road, but there's no
Right.
house anywhere. So I get out of the woods that day and I tell my buddy that I'm with, who is in his 70s at the time, I said, "Did you hear that noise earlier this morning?" He goes, "Yeah, I did." And I said, "If I didn't know any better, I think it was Bigfoot." Well, he slammed on the brakes of the 4-wheeler and he turned around. He goes, "My brother swears he's out here, blah, 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 blah." Anyway, so fast forward to turkey season. I'm out there, getting ready for turkey season, and I run across the gentleman that he was doing the burn for the hunting land's right next to a WMA, and he's doing the prescribed burn over there. And he comes talks to me, goes, "Did you see the Bigfoot hunters this year?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, they've been out here in this area trying to call up Bigfoot. They're mad at us for doing prescribed burns." And I went, the cop brain goes, "That explains the tree knocking or the knocking I heard, because there's no reason, like, you know." I just don't believe that Bigfoot was out there, but who
So
knows?
they were out there trying to call Bigfoot,
They
maybe.
were, and they were mad at them because they were burning Bigfoot's habitat. Is what they were mad at him about. So, um, yeah. But in the meantime of that happening, and we started sharing stories. The guy's son and me, we started. He starts telling me about some stuff that's happened to him out there, and I had to stop him because hunters have a bad habit of pulling pranks on each other, like
Uh huh.
stuff. And I stopped him. I said, "Guys, look, because I'm not a prank guy. I don't pull pranks. I don't really do a lot, whatever." I had to stop. I said, "You do understand, even in bow season, I carry a pistol on me. So you don't want to walk out trying to jump scare me walking through the woods, because it may not go the way you think it will." So,
Yeah, do not jump out on me in a
yeah,
Bigfoot or alien costume because it's a good way to get put down. I'm gonna shoot
yeah,
first and ask questions later. Like, because don't get me wrong, it would be cool to meet Bigfoot, but my
yeah,
initial impression if I see Bigfoot is not going to be like, oh, maybe he likes beer. It's going to be
yeah.
like, oh shit. And
My,
I'm still convinced when I was a kid. So I grew up in South Jersey. we
Yeah.
had what's called the Jersey Devil. I'm
Yep.
still convinced that that thing chased me on a four-wheeler when I
Dang.
was a teenager. Nobody will ever convince me that my eyes did not see because it wasn't like I was out there. Jersey Devil wasn't even in my brain. Like we all knew what it was. And I'm out there riding and that thing was in the middle of the trail. And
Yeah.
it's not like there's a deer in the middle of the trail I've seen a million times. It's not like it was a horse, seen those a million times. It was the damn Jersey Devil. And that thing screamed and I hauled ass and I could see it through the trees and I knew it was chasing me. I came home. My dad said I looked petrified with
Yeah.
horror. My dad doesn't believe in the Jersey Devil, but he believes that I saw what I think I saw. He's like,
There,
I don't know if he saw the Jersey Devil, but I know that he thinks he saw the Jersey Devil. His eye was just like, nope. I did not go. I took my four wheeler out, but I did not go that direction or into those woods for probably 2 years. And I used
wow.
to ride it every day of my life. I went a
Wow.
completely different direction. Like the thing can't fly, but like there was just something I could not get myself back down the Blue Hole Trail for like
Hey,
2 years.
was this nighttime or was it daytime?
Dusk.
Oh wow.
That's why everybody's like, well, maybe it was a deer, maybe it was this, but like it was dark enough that I had kicked on the headlights on my Banshee. So it's
Yeah.
got the two round headlights,
Yep.
but like they're not the brightest things in the world. They don't broadcast all that far, and they're still like it's still daylight, but you're under the canopy of the
Yeah.
trees. So I'm coming through the trail, and it's like this straighter section. So you come around a bend, and it opens up for like 50 feet, and it's just wide enough for a four wheeler. It's not big. So I come around that bend, and the headlights hit it, and that thing is just standing there, and I just slammed on the brakes, and I'm just frozen, and that
Like
thing
how big?
squealed.
How big was it?
6, 8 feet. I don't know how big that thing's actually supposed to be, but when you're sitting on a four wheeler and it's
Yeah.
standing, it looks taller than a
Wow.
grown man. And it looks like a horse with wings with like goat leg. It's the freakiest looking thing in the world. But I saw it and that thing just squealed and went to the left and I just dumped that clutch and I was gone. And I could just like every now and then you don't look behind you. And
Yeah.
this is the part that everybody thinks didn't happen and I kind of get why. Because you're flying through the trees and you're taking
Yeah.
the little cuts that go around trees and you're around the bends. And so it's all like branches bouncing off the handlebars and
Yeah.
stuff. But I swear, like out of the side, you can just see that thing through the woods. And that is probably just the trees and everything else whipping by, and now your brain's conditioned to something else.
Yeah.
But I never came off the throttle on anything. My dad said he could hear that banshee screaming through the woods for like 5 minutes. It's probably about 3 miles out to the road and then a mile down to the house. So the
Yeah.
trail runs parallel to like the house. But so I'm just like, brah, 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 just never letting off that thing. And those
Wow.
are not slow machines and they just
No.
scream. So it got his attention because he's used to, you get on it or whatever, and then you back off it and you let the
Yep.
two stroke cool down. And he's like, it got my attention because I'm working out in the garage. And he's like, there's just never a break. He's like, I could hear you back off for a second, then right back on it. He thought the game wardens were on me because in New Jersey, you're not allowed to ride on state land. And so
Yeah.
the game wardens would chase you and impound your bike if they got you. And so he said he could hear me screaming through the woods. And then when I hit the blacktop, he could just hear the tires screaming on the asphalt because I just hit it and I'm still going. So it's spinning and I'm just flying. And so he just opened up the other bay of the garage where the four wheelers go, thinking there's a game warden behind me. And I came one side of it's a U-shaped driveway. One side's gravel, one side's dirt. And I hit that dirt side so fast that I was sliding across the grass towards the gravel. And he's just doing this. And I came into that garage, brakes locking up, just like sliding in. He shut the door and he was like, kill the bike, kill the bike. And I shut off. He goes, how far behind are they? And I was like, who? He's like, the game wardens. I'm like, no, it's the fucking Jersey Devil. And you
Wow.
could tell his face. He's like, oh, come on. But then he got to see that like I was just sweating and just heart rate through the roof. And I'm like, no, I saw this. And he's like, I believe that you thought you saw something. He's
Wow.
like, because he was riding like he was on stolen machinery going to prison.
Dang. Dang. That's pretty. That's probably the. I've had some friends in the military that were from Jersey, and they talked about it, but nobody's ever had a story quite like that I've heard so far. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was wired for it anyway. Like when I was a kid, they had a book on the Jersey Devil in the school library you could check out. and I'd read that thing all the time, and it had the illustrations. Like I was fascinated with it.
Yeah.
But when you're just out there and you're not, I mean, you're just riding. You're not thinking about nothing. And then when
Yeah.
you stop dead because you're staring at it, you're just like, your brain didn't just go, "Hey, Jersey Devil," and you slam on the
Yeah.
brakes. And so maybe it was something else, but man, I could see it. Like I could still see it. Like I could see you. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
That's wild. That's pretty crazy.
It's a cool memory.
Yeah.
Probably the
Yeah.
fastest I ever ran that Banshee. That was the most dialed. If I could have ran enduro races like that, I'd have been
Yeah.
on podiums all the time.
I just need the Jersey Devil to chase me through this course.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like how much bark did I scrape off on the way home that day?
Man, that's crazy.
I don't think I could have run back through that trail like that if I was trying to. It was all just instinct and panic at
See,
that point.
and as soon as you said you dumped the clutch and took off, my luck, I would have dumped the clutch. The bike would have stalled. I'd have been having to try to start the darn thing. I'm like, come on, here we go. That
Eric
would have been
said
my
it's
luck.
probably also an alien.
Yeah. Hey, you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, he had a comment a little bit ago. What if Bigfoot's actually an alien? He only visits every now and then. It's not the worst theory I've heard.
Well, they say that the whole thing with the argument why we haven't found any bones or bodies or anything like that is they're interdimensional beings now. That's what I've heard. So I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to think Bigfoot appears and disappears. I want to think that Bigfoot's just elusive, and that's why we haven't seen him. If it's real, I don't want it to be one of those, you know. That almost sounds like the creator of the games playing tricks on us here at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the Matrix over here.
Yeah.
The programmers are rewriting stuff so we see figments or whatever.
I prefer to believe he's the hide and seek champion, like all
Yeah, that's what
those
I'm saying.
T-shirts and everything say. I want to get a T-shirt made that's a trash panda because of the company,
Yep.
but I want to get a trash panda, Bigfoot, and the Jersey Devil sitting around a campfire roasting a gnome, like on a spit. I want to make that T-shirt.
Oh, that's too good right there. That's pretty
Yeah,
funny. That's
man,
hilarious.
we've been going for an hour and 15, and I know you had a long day, and I know I've had a
Hey,
long day, so
yeah,
I
that's
think I
it went
man
by
I
quick.
yeah, it always flies by. Sometimes I look up at the ticker and I'm like, man, I kept this person a long time.
No, man, you're fine, dude. That's we do we do the 2 hour shows Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, whatever we do them, and you get some folks you talk to and it's like, man, this is a long show, and then there's nights where like last night we had Geezer Fishing Co on, and I looked up and we were 2 minutes over, and I was like, oh, we've already been over 2 hours at this point. And I don't like going more than two because again,
Yeah.
you got to keep people up, whatever, doing whatever. So, yeah, it goes by quick, especially when you have good conversation and everybody participates and whatnot.
I
So,
tell you, the live well that went by the fastest for me was when you guys had Jackie on.
oh yeah,
What a character that dude is. He's
yeah.
hilarious.
Let me tell you my longest live well. My longest live well was what's his name? My first one I ever hosted, Chad Hoover.
Oh yeah, Chad can talk, man.
Oh no, we did you see that one?
I can't remember if I saw that one or not. I think I might have.
That was the first one I ever hosted, and he went off the rails, and we got complaints from county commissioners and stuff like that. I mean, like, great guy. Don't get me wrong, Chad's a great guy, but it was like I'm like a deer in the headlights because he's cussing, he's going wild, and I'm going, this ain't even my show. This ain't even my show. And I kept it together, but I got in the truck, and my wife goes, "Why did you let that happen?" I was like, "I didn't do anything wrong. I tried to stop
Oh,
it. I tried to stop it."
God
But
bless Chad.
yeah, he's a good dude. He just I was not expecting that level of intensity for sure. But he's a good dude. I know he
I
does a
really
lot.
liked it. I really liked the one where Andrew came on and the power went out like 2 minutes in when
Oh
that person
yeah,
hit the pole, but the live never stopped.
nope,
So Andrew just soloed it with the comment section the
yep,
whole time, and he not many people can do it like that, man. He just rolled with it,
oh yeah,
and it was a great show. Like I would never be able to if I was a guest and the host got knocked out and it was just me. I could never like as smoothly and everything as Andrew did it. Like he's been
yeah,
podcasting his whole life, man.
yeah. It was weird because it not 100% power. Nothing was on. The card hit a telephone pole. It went down. I guess Alex got a text. Somebody got a text, or maybe I got a text. I don't know. And I'm like, so I was able to pull it up on my cell phone when I walked outside. I was able to get because service up there was really bad if you didn't have you weren't on the shop Wi-Fi. And I'm like, well, he's still going. He's almost like, how does the show keep going when the dang server got knocked out? I mean, like yeah, but hey, it worked. It worked. It was
Yeah,
great.
and it was like I remember when he was done, he's like, "All right, everybody, have a good night." And he got off, and then you guys weren't able to stop it. It
Yeah,
just went as a black screen
it
for a
kept going
while,
forever. Yeah, I don't know how long that stayed on. Like, I guess till the power came back on. I guess I don't know how that worked,
or until
but
it timed out something. But
I don't know because you can go
yeah,
indefinitely. I think on those things. I guess I've never done it like that, but yeah, that was pretty funny because I mean we're just sitting around like, what the heck just happened here?
it was a good show though.
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
it was awesome.
speaking of good shows, man, the comment section was awesome tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in
Absolutely.
and
Thanks a lot,
chiming
guys.
in, and everybody who listens to this on the future on Apple, Spotify, and all that. You can catch us on the YouTube and Facebook live Tuesdays 7 o'clock, and you can always go back on YouTube and find this video so you can watch the video version with our pretty faces on here. But man, I really appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun.
No, dude, I appreciate it. That was awesome. I enjoyed the heck out of it, man. Thank you for considering me for the show because it was an honor. I think this is my first time I've ever been on somebody else's podcast. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed
Oh,
the heck
that's
out of it.
cool, man.
Yeah.
I had somebody on 2 weeks ago, and it was their first podcast ever, and I didn't know that either. But
Yeah.
I was like, hey, it's almost still my first podcast, so don't be too nervous.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one.